From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to OpenLine. Thank you so much for being with us on this Monday evening. I'm Carrie Sharp. We have a topic tonight that I hope will generate a lot of calls, so I really want to hear how you're feeling about this. It's something that's been in the news cycle since the beginning of February, since Super Bowl. Can you guess what I'm talking about? Take a look right here. We're going to be talking about Beyoncé, her Super Bowl performance, her new song, Formation, the video that goes with it, the lyrics of this song, and what it means for the officers who are often called to protect her and also provide traffic and security for her concerts, of course, her big money makers as part of her business. So we want to hear your thoughts on this controversy. We have Sergeant Danny Hale with us from the Nashville FOP. They certainly have their own thoughts. Thanks for being with us, Sergeant.
Thank you for having me.
You all came out last week, and after all of this has bubbled up over the last couple of weeks, they said, we have our own thoughts on this. And when it comes to our upcoming show, which is in the beginning of May.
May the 5th.
Yeah. What's going on?
Well, I sent out a press release, basically, and I sent out a message to my membership, basically asking for them not to volunteer to work the event. You know, ultimately, we're going to work the event because the chief, in the interest of public safety, he's going to have to mandate that. We get that. You can't bring 50, 60, 70,000 folks into our city and not have some type of police protection.
Right. But
it bothers me, not so much the video that you referenced to. I actually watched it for the first time today, to be honest with you.
Her music video or the Super Bowl performance?
The music video.
Yeah.
And then the Super Bowl performance, my only big deal about that is I mean, Miss Knowles is a performer, she's an artist, she's an American, she can do whatever she chooses to do, and that's her prerogative. But it's a big broad brush when you take a group and you put them up on a bit of a pedestal, and that being the Black Panther movement, and you say, and I know that there will be the arguments on the other side that they did community work, they were taking a stance in other communities for police brutality at the time. I get that, and if you stick with that message and you work towards your goal, that's fine with me. But when you start calling for the assault and the actual murder of police officers, then it's no longer fine with me. We lost 2 police officers in 1968. Tell
me about that, because as we have been covering stories on this as it deals with you all saying, listen, we're not calling for a boycott, but we're also not calling for our officers to volunteer to work this duty when it comes to her concert. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
This also came up when the Rutherford County Sheriff, his home was shot up about a week ago, and he said, I don't know, maybe it's in response as law enforcement seems to be a target.
We seem to be a little bit under fire. I think at last count, I think there's been 7 officers killed since the Super Bowl. Please, I don't think it was because of the Super Bowl. I'm not that narrow-minded. I think there's a lot of bad folks across the country, and that things like that happen. You know, in 1968, we lost Thomas Johnson and Charles Thomason, and they actually died 2 months apart, but it was just Officer Thomason had such critical illness or critical wounds that he died a couple of months later. It was still the same incident. Officer Johnson went to stop a car not far from here in North Nashville, and there were 5 people in there, and they made themselves known as being part of the Black Panther movement, and ultimately they shot, I think it's Officer Johnson, I want to say 5 times with a .30-30 rifle, and then Officer Thomason went to his aid and was shot as well. And I realize it was 1968, but it's still the city of Nashville, and it's 2 of our own.
And you will always stick up for 2 of your own. That's just the way it goes with policing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've lost too many police officers. Since I have been on the police force, I think the last count's 4 or 5. I know Lieutenant Ronnie Woodard was the first shot. As me being a police officer, was a very good friend of mine. So I miss these people, yes.
Yeah, it's close to home. We're already getting some calls. Wow, the lines are lit up right away. So let's get right to the lines. I think I have the right names here. Courtney, you're going to have to tell me the names again, but I think I have Jay here up first. Jay, good evening. Is this you? I'm sorry
yes,
if I...
It is.
Okay, good.
Thank you for taking my call. Sir, I just want to thank you for your service and all law enforcement. It makes me sick at my stomach how this country's acting, and it all, to me, it goes up to the president. To me, he shows no support of the police department. And I just want to, the FOP, they do a good job. They sponsored my son's baseball team for years. They're great in the community. The police department throws our team a party every year. And, I wish nobody would go to the concert, but I know that ain't going to happen. But I just want to thank all law enforcement, and to me, it goes all the way to the top, to the presidency, and I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jay, for calling in. And I do want to mention, we extended an invitation to the group, the national group of Black Lives Matters, and we would love to hear their perspective on this.
Absolutely.
I think it is a vital perspective. Unfortunately, they did not respond to us, so perhaps there's a member out there watching who would like to call in. We'd invite that. Let's go to Linda on the line. Linda, thank you for being with us this evening. What's your comment or question?
Yes, I would like to first of all thank all the policemen out there for protecting us.
Thank you.
And I'm a retired nurse, and color means nothing to me. I took care of all my patients. It didn't matter who they were, where they came from. And I feel like that this, the Black Lives Matter, that they need to rethink this, because all lives matter, and we all should watch out for each other. And I thank the policemen for being out there every day, every night, and doing what they're doing to make sure that all of us stay safe in our homes, our businesses, no matter where we're at. And I just, and Beyoncé, I feel like, sent a wrong message, and I hope people rethink what she said, in her song, because all lives matter.
There you go. And there has been that countergroup that has surfaced that all lives
I appreciate
do
the
matter.
callers that call in support. Like Jay, says it goes all the way to the top. I don't know. I can't tell you that. Only thing I can deal with is what we deal with on a local level here. And as far as this lady here, we appreciate the support. The police officers are out here in Nashville, Tennessee. Probably the most professional people I've ever dealt with in my life. I wouldn't have pushed for my son to become a police officer if I didn't think it was a good job and a good calling. I've been doing this job for almost 32 years, and I can't think of anything I'd rather do.
That speaks so highly of it and
Absolutely.
what you guys do out there. What went into this decision when you said, hey, we're not calling for a boycott, but we're saying please don't volunteer? What went into the decision?
Everything came down, and I had heard across the country in Tampa and Miami and a few different places they were calling for a boycott. And I got to be honest with you, I don't like the word boycott, because our national FOP president, Chuck Canterbury, made the statement one time about the Quentin Tarantino Hateful Eight, and Mr. Tarantino had made his statements and going to call for a boycott, and then he said, well, call for a boycott, basically gin up the interest. And and the cool part about the Tarantino movie, it wasn't very good, so it sort of boycotted itself, so that was a good thing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, Miss Knowles is going to come in here with a heck of a following. That's what talented people do, and that's good for her. I mean, that's the great part about being an American. You can make your own way in life and make a lot of money doing it. And the only thing I've ever said is just, maybe step back and think about these police families. I have kids. Everybody I know out there, they have a family, and it worries them to see the men and women go out there. And I mean, the bad things are going to happen. It's just the nature of the business. We get that. But I go through this. I've been sidetracked this weekend over this issue. I'd much rather worry about these police officers getting compensated for what they're worth, and making sure that our disciplinary system is better than it ever has been. And those are the things I really want to concentrate on. It just blows my mind that one press release went this far.
And not just here, but it has across the nation.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not just Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I promise you, I have heard from people from New York to Los Angeles, literally.
And, don't you think, though, it goes back to where we've been over the last couple of years when it comes to policing? And I know you officers feel it out there, because we're talking about it all the time in the news when it comes to police brutality, the different cases that have really taken the news cycle by storm. you guys have to feel this pressure out there every day.
There is a pressure. You know, here in Nashville, we're probably second to none in training. I mean, I can't go anywhere and find any better training than the facility we have and the dedicated folks that do that. We work so hard to stay professional. It is tough. Like I said, getting painted with that broad brush.
Yeah.
Things are going to happen. And let me tell you, things have happened in other cities that are not right. And I agree with that. Let the courts, let the administration, let whatever take its course, and it's normally going to work out. But you can't, just because something happened in Missouri doesn't mean it happened in Nashville, Tennessee, because it didn't. These people are out here every day trying to do the best they can do.
All right, when we're going to take a break on that notion, give us a call if you want to chime in on this topic tonight. 615-737+ is the number. We're coming right back.